If the doors of your car look like this, you definitely should not be doing this. And yet, that's exactly what we're gonna do today.
Since the idea of this build is to keep things as cost-effective as possible, but the car right now looks very much atrocious, we have decided to do a bit of an experiment. Now, what you should do with a situation like this is probably just bin the doors and get replacement panels. Instead of that, we have picked up a couple of cans of rattle spray, some body filler, and we're going to try to fix this thing the easy way. And let's see what kind of results can we get, and most importantly, how will they stand the test of time. So with no yaddling about, let's jump into it. So the first step we're gonna do is grab a grinder with a grinding disc and try to get as much of the loose material of the doors as possible. Since I will also be painting the rockers, I'm not too bothered about scratching them up. So let's see how this works. Alright, so I've been grinding away at the rust for about an hour now, and I'd say we are pretty much done with that. So what I'm gonna do next is I've got some rust converter, which in theory should, well, it won't stop the rust, but it will maybe slow it down a little bit. So I will apply that and let the thing do its magic for like 30 minutes or so. Alright, so I have sanded everything down, and now we are preparing to apply some body filler. For the first layer, I have chosen a glass fiber enforced polyester filler, which should be sturdy enough, and this will be the base layer, after which I will be applying some smoother filler just to get it nice and smooth and hopefully good looking for the paint. So now that the first layer of the filler has dried up, it's time for the most tedious part of the whole process, which is sanding. And for that, I have picked up a King Pao Excentrinis Shilufuoklis, which is a eccentric sanding machine. I've done my first test with this, and I'm actually quite happy with it. We've got adjustable gears, adjustable speed, speed 1, painfully slow, but you can turn it up a notch. Woo! All the way to 6, and that's where things get fun. So let me give you a quick show of how this thing works. And we have taken off quite a bit of material right now, and given that all of my previous sanding jobs were done by these beautiful arms right here, this is a huge upgrade, and this thing was like, I think, €35 or something like that. So definitely, if you don't have something like this and you plan to paint anything, get it. You won't regret it. All right, so I think that's where we're gonna cut day 1. I'll get back tomorrow, do the last layer of filler, sand it all down, and then we'll be painting the thing. So see you tomorrow. All right, so now I have sanded down the final layer of the filler, and it's time to clean everything up, mask the spots I don't want to paint, and then apply the first coat of primer. Now, cleaning this whole thing up is very, very important, because any dust that I miss, and I'll probably miss some, is going to interfere with the paint job in the end. So I'll try to do this as well as I possibly can, opening all the doors and trying to get into all of the crevices. Oh, and I have sanded the paint in these spots just so new paint would stick to it a little bit better. Alright guys, so I have now wiped off all the body panels with some acetone. It has been cleaned up and degreased, and I've shaken up some primer. Nothing too complicated here. First coat, a little bit light, and then we'll go heavier in the future coats. Let's go. Alright, I am done priming the car, and now we get to the fun bit, which is paint. Now, I could have, of course, do it the right way and order a pre-mix, or basically get the paint shop to mix exactly my tone for the car, but we chose to do it the cheap way, which is going to your local hardware store and finding something that is really close to home. Now, keep in mind that the fender is probably faded a little bit as well. I think this is pretty darn close, and I highly doubt that you'll be able to notice a difference. Maybe in, you know, super direct sunlight, like right now, but this is what's coming on. Alright guys, we're getting close to the finish line. The paint is semi-dried up right now, which means it's time to apply the clear coat. Nothing fancy here, regular store-bought clear coat, and that should get the job done. I'll add a pretty thick layer of it just in case I may be able to polish it out in the future, which I probably won't end up doing, so let's just go. And so we're done. Now, first let me tell you about a couple of things I had trouble with during this whole process. First of all, working with body filler is actually quite tough, especially when you've got a car like this, where you have to fill holes of rust with body filler. Now, this was my third time working with it, and this was definitely heaps better than my previous works of art, which luckily you guys haven't seen, but you can still see that there are a couple of spots which are far from perfect. It was especially visible after I applied primer to it, because right now with clear coat on, the light kind of shines off it and you can't really witness most of the bad stuff about it, but if you look up close, it's visible. Second of all, after painting the whole thing and starting to apply clear coat, the cans of clear coat started shooting droplets of coat onto the car. Ooh, we've got some nasty drops right there. Ew. We definitely will have to polish up the pieces we painted, because right now it's looking all like Orange Peel County, but overall I definitely do have a firm belief that this will make the car look quite a bit better. But now, without wasting any more of your time, let's take off the mask and see the results. And that's us done. And to be fair with you guys, I did not expect this to turn out as good as it did. Even without getting this thing polished, which I probably should do, onto the naked eye, the difference really can't be seen. The tone of the paint is very close, maybe a little bit too purplish, but yeah. This cost me about 60 euro, took me a working day and a half. Of course, there's still plenty of stuff that needs to be done onto the car, which we will tackle in the future episodes, so if you wish to see those, definitely subscribe to the channel. But for now, very happy with the progress, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.